Every story has a pattern. John Campbell calls this the hero's journey. What fascinates me is even small, ordinary events follow this. You miss the bus, that's your call to adventure. Whether you walk or share a cab with a stranger or grab a coffee and rethink your morning, you're engaging with the unknown, the adventure. You hesitate to complain, you blame, you play the victim, you crumble. That's your refusal stage. Finally comes the return with wisdom stage. You're late, yes, but you learned something. A new shortcut, or you met someone interesting in the cab, or just the realization that missing a bus isn't the end of the world. Your tiny adventure gave you a tiny dose of wisdom. Why does this matter? Because when you frame your daily inconveniences as hero journeys, you reclaim agency. Suddenly, you're not the victim, but the protagonist of your own story. Just a story folded into your day. Ages ago, when humans were scribbling on the walls of their caves, they were not trying to be creative. It was a survival tactic, it was memory they were passing on to their next generations. This is how fire is made, this is how we hunt. There was no other language. Storytelling was the language. Ages later, now, storytelling still lies at the core of every other language. Whether you're creating a new language, be it coding, be it AI, any other language, or you're using another language, it's the structuring, it's the storytelling you really need to have a good hold on. It makes all the difference. Just a story folded into your day. In medieval maps, oceans are filled with dragons, continents marked based on the stories and tales that sailors brought back. Were these maps accurate? No. But for centuries, they were accepted as truth. That's the essence of epistemic storytelling. It stirs emotions, but way more than that, it rewires what people believe is real. Money has value because we accept the story of value. Nations and countries exist because we believe in the story of borders. Even in business, fact and data don't persuade until wrapped in a story, a customer moment, a vivid scene, or a metaphor. Fact and data are fragile, they are volatile. Stories decide which fact survives. Stories convert numbers into knowledge and knowledge into belief. I'm not saying you have to make up a story. Every data, every fact has a story in it. You just have to see it and tell it. You have to recognize that stories are the infrastructure of truth. Just a story folded into your day. You walk into a marketplace where stalls are not selling apples or shoes, they are trading stories. One story earns you trust, another one buys you attention. Some stories are so persuasive that they immediately convert into money. This is not an imaginary marketplace, you're already in it. It's called narrative economy. Economists like Nobel laureate Robert Shiller point out that financial markets run less on spreadsheets and more on contagious stories. The housing bubble, the crypto boom, startup unicorns. These phrases are not just phrases, they are levers which can influence behavior and thinking and can recreate entire futures. And here's the catch, not all stories have the same exchange rate. I'll talk more about this in my next capsule tomorrow. Until then, just a story folded into your day. Yesterday, I left that while talking about the catch. So, the catch is that all stories don't have the same exchange rate. A clickbait might earn you a moment of attention, but stories that imprint values, create a reserve of trust. And trust, unlike attention, compounds. So here's the move. Don't treat stories like disposable coins. Treat them like long term investments. Every story you tell, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly, is like a coin. Alone, it might seem small, but together they accumulate to create something bigger. Your treasury of trust, your image, your legacy. In narrative economics, words are capital. When used wisely, they mint trust. Just a story folded into your day. The latest is that the world has become heavier, from information overload to political fatigue to fatigue of the reality of authenticity. People are craving escape more than ever. So, what brands are doing, they are using interactive metaverse for advertising to create virtual immersive experiences. Coca Cola, Nike, Gucci, Hyundai, Wendy's. So Nike has created Nikeland. Gucci has created a virtual garden. Hyundai has created mobility adventures. So if you're a storyteller, escapism is the new kid on the block. I'll give you an example. So, if you have to give a bland update like sales dipped by 5% this month, instead say, we are learning valuable lessons this month that are setting the stage for a major comeback. This subtle shift turns your bland update into a small escape that engages and motivates people. Just a story folded into your day. Previously, I spoke about how brand storytellers are creating immersive experiences to escape the weight of reality. It reminded me of the initial days of my own startup when we were conceptualizing our kids' weekly magazine. We didn't just want it to be a collection of stories. So, when we named it Postcard initially, the idea was that kids will receive a postcard every week from an imaginary place. We soon realized we needed a bigger universe, so Readersburg was born. And Readersburg was that imaginary place where kids could think and explore and create. Storytelling has always been about creating immersive experiences, be it movies, be it books, be it advertising. And storytelling has always walked hand in hand with contemporary technology. Back then, when I started off as an entrepreneur, we had websites, then apps came in, and now we have platforms like Roblox, and in a larger way, AI. Just a story folded into your day. We've all felt it numerous times, that shiver down the spine, that hair standing up, goosebumps when a story hits us. Goosebumps are not magic, there's a whole science involved here. When a story creates suspense, our brains release cortisol, the attention chemical. It heightens alertness. When the suspense is resolved, our brains reward us with the happy chemical dopamine. When there are deep values like love, loss, belonging, we feel a rush of oxytocin, the bonding chemical. That's why you feel closer to the characters, the story, the storyteller. A cocktail of these chemicals makes stories enjoyable, yes, but more than that, it makes them memorable. Our brains evolved to remember stories that taught us survival lessons. Good stories stick in our bones. So, all creators, leaders, communicators out there, if you're trying to send out a message, make sure that your stories are designed to trigger emotion. Just a story folded into your day.